There's a new report out that DC's going to cancel Batgirl in a day and age where they've canceled the Snyderverse. They've taken away any good Henry Cavill movies, and they flooded us and left us with Ezra Miller allegedly hurting people and who knows what else, and being charged for random crimes allegedly. And yeah, I can't say that we're missing much. So there's a lot of people bemoaning the fact that there's not going to be a Batgirl. We had an epic potential trilogy with the Snyderverse that has been shelved because of delicate sensibilities and too much masculinity. And look what this gets you: 70 million down the hole, tested and reviewed so low that they're not even going to sully HBO Max with it. That's pretty fascinating. So it says that Warner and DC Comics quest to gain an equal footing with Disney and Marvel Studios, Hollywood superheroes, has reached a new low with the reported cancellation of Batgirl. It uh, doesn't sound like they're reaching at all. No, I'm sure this is actual. Um, Look, if you just stay where you're at, DC, Marvel's going down in flames at this point. There's the last good thing was the Spider-Man movie. That's about it. I haven't heard anyone raving about Doctor Strange. I don't hear anyone who cares about what's coming next. At this point, I'm hoping for Rippaverse movies because there's no good content left, in my opinion. A bunch of remade movies just being regurgitated, gender swapped, race swapped characters. So it says the film, which was slated for release on HBO Max this year, would have featured rising star Leslie Grace in the titular role and Michael Keaton as Batman. I mean, nothing like a little nostalgia, right? Filming was completed and post production had begun. According to several outlets, the movie will never see the light of day. Oh man, that's great. It seems like you guys did a lot there with 70 million. That's fascinating. 70 million bucks and it's not allowed to see the light of day. Good job, guys. So basically, this was meant to be a live action adaptation that was going to go on the streaming service, HBO Max, but they've spared us all and made sure that people didn't begin canceling their subscription just like Netflix, because that's basically what would have happened. Honestly, people are sick and tired of these sickening and tiring shows. Says despite its budget that reportedly jumped from 75 to 90 million, partially because of COVID delays, Batgirl was never intended for the big screen, which is terrible. Almost all the Batman things I know besides the Spielberg animated series, all the things of consequence that people enjoy in the film genre and in the television genre, most of them were made for movies and they were consumed eagerly, even though it's the fourth, fifth, sixth Batman title you've seen in the last decade or so. You go back and you watch it because this is a new iteration. It has a twist on his origin. It has compelling bad guys, and certainly Batman's someone who's driven by his opponents. His own story just evolves massively depending upon who he faces. There are so many great DC characters that could easily be brought to the forefront. Lobo, Dr. Fate. You could have a whole Green Lantern series, but instead they went with Batgirl and they made it a B movie, which is tragic. You could tell there's a lot of issues, a lot of turmoil in the company as far as they are not pursuing sensible goals like earning profits and um, maintaining long established brands and worrying about customer management relationships. Instead, they're just torching it to the ground. And for people who apparently don't go to movies anyway, with the way that some of these movies have bombed, whether it's Black Widow or the Wanda Universe of Madness, Doctor Strange, whatever it is. Some of these movies have done so abysmal. I can't understand why these companies risk their reputations for something that may look pretty in the end sometimes, but ultimately will be forgotten very quickly and with a huge budget, and unless it's just brought up by some guy on the internet to rub it in your face. Beyond that, it's interesting too because they've canceled a lot of the CW shows. I think they just canceled Arrow today. Makes sense. They had let that property go on for a long time, and they took an interesting character and wrung an extra 4 or 5 seasons out of it, which is unfortunate, but he was better than apparently this because this got canceled before it came out. So at least there's some leadership there, and that says a lot because we haven't had any in quite some time. I guess we won't get to see Michael Keaton in this particular film, but the fact that they've saved us the agony of a B movie on steroids, and that works for me. Not bad.